We often talk about mindfulness, productivity, work-life balance, but we've forgotten something much more fundamental: how to do nothing. The Latin word for business was negotium, literally meaning not leisure. Think about it. Work was defined by what it isn't. That's how important leisure once was. The ancients saw otium, or leisure, as sacred time, the time for philosophy, creativity, for thinking. Even the Greek word schol, where we get the word school, originally meant leisure, time spent learning and reflecting. Leisure was once the highest human activity, and today it's almost gone. Even our rest has to be productive. Our hobbies are monetized, our workouts are tracked, our relaxation is scheduled. And even meditation, which was once meant to be a space to notice yourself, has become another thing on our to-do list. We're told to clear our minds, to be calm, to detach. But calm is not the same as clarity. We don't need to empty our minds. We need to start using them again. For most of human history, leisure was not a luxury. It was the point. We work so that we could have leisure, time to think. Aristotle called leisure the foundation of a meaningful life. Seneca said, "Leisure without study is death and burial of a living man." It was through leisure that philosophy, science, and art emerged. People weren't trying to rest from life, they were trying to understand it. But in our modern world, negotium, not leisure, took over. Now even our downtime is filled, scrolling, streaming, podcasts, audiobooks. We fill every gap because silence feels strange. And ironically, our obsession with mindfulness often feeds the same cycle. We consume calm the way we consume content. Meditation isn't the problem, it's how we've turned it into spiritual materialism. We collect calm like we collect likes. We buy journals, apps, guided meditations, scented candles, and somewhere along the way, the act of being still just became another performance. And it's not that these things don't help, they do, but often we're using them to avoid thought, not to explore it. We're chasing that dopamine of doing self-experiment rather than actually improving. We tell ourselves that thinking too much is the problem. But overthinking isn't too much thought, it's unfinished thought. It's that clutter that builds up, that noise. And meditation helps to calm the noise, but calm alone doesn't lead to understanding. You don't get clarity by avoiding your mind, you get clarity by meeting your mind. So here's an idea. Instead of closing your eyes and trying to stop your thoughts, try to keep them open and invite them in. 15 minutes every day. No phone, no background noise, no agenda. Sit somewhere, chair, a park bench, a window, just let your brain do what it wants. At first you'll think, oh, I need to buy something. I forgot that email. I should look this up. That's the surface layer, that mental static. But if you wait long enough, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, you'll start to feel something shift. Thoughts stop shouting and start to unfold. You begin to collect ideas that were buried under the distraction. Now, your brain is a processing machine. But what we've done is we've turned it into an inbox. We feed it endless information, podcasts, books, reels, but we never give it time to process any of it. We can remember what we read, but we rarely give ourselves time to understand. And this is what eyes open meditation does. It gives your brain back that processing time. So it's not about silence, it's about synthesis. And there's solid science behind this. When you're not focused on a task, when you let your mind wander, a part of your brain called the default mode network activates. It's responsible for self-reflection, imagination, insight, and it's where creativity and understanding happen. But constant stimulation, notifications, endless scrolling, background noise, keeps that network switched off. We're permanently in input mode and never in processing mode. We're never integrating. Psychologists have found that periods of wakeful rest, that's sitting quietly without distraction, the kind of thing I'm talking about, improves creative problem solving and memory consolidation. That's when your brain connects those dots. The ancients knew this intuitively. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, imagining problems in advance, not suppressing thoughts. Monks called it contemplatio, not closing your eyes, but looking out in the world while reflecting inwards. Einstein called his form of thinking combinatory play, idle daydreaming that sparked breakthroughs. These people were not meditating to erase thoughts, they were thinking deeply to shape them. Leisure was not the absence of activity, it was the space for that discovery. Now, think about your everyday. Every gap is filled, waiting for a bus, scrolling your phone, boil the kettle, check for notifications. Even walks or podcasts now, we don't even walk alone with our mind anymore. And that's the problem, we've lost those in-between moments where ideas are born. Without making space for real leisure, we mistake reaction for reflection. We never hear the quiet voice under that noise, the one that says, this is what actually matters. And that's why we often feel lost, even when life is under control, because we've built a life that leaves no time to think. Reclaiming leisure isn't about doing less, it's about reintroducing the rhythm. Input, reflection. Activity, pause. Work, otium. The goal is not more meditation. It's not even more thinking. It's better thinking. When you give your mind leisure, it starts to do what it was designed for, making sense of things. You'll start to find that instead of forcing creativity or clarity, they just start to arrive naturally. While cooking, while walking, while staring out the window. Because when you stop running away from your thoughts, you start to realize they were never the enemy. They were just waiting for your attention. Leisure, true leisure, isn't that absence of effort, it's the presence of insight. So next time you're feeling that urge to scroll, pause. Don't open your phone, open your eyes. Sit there and let your mind breathe. You might just discover that the clarity that you've been searching for was actually waiting for you in the quiet. Thanks for listening. Make sure you press like and subscribe and share this video with your friends and family. See you next time.